All right, so guys, Tom, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to OP Poker, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
All
How are
right, good
you?
stuff. Would you mind doing a little introduction of yourself and your stream and kind of where you're at with the Twitch community and all that right now?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So my name's predator410. I have been streaming for about a month and a half. I have just recently started a $50 bankroll challenge that originally planned to start with just 50 cent 45-man turbos, but I actually recently started adding in some power up because they seem to be real fun, really good, and everyone likes watching it.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah.
Right, cool. And sorry, Tom, I missed that part. What are you? Is the most common game that you're playing right now?
Probably power up
Okay.
alongside 50 cent 45 months.
All right. All right, good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I saw you were doing some practice yesterday,
Yeah.
which is good. Okay, cool. Well, that begs the question as well. I believe that you were actually watching. I believe that you were actually watching the you're watching the stream with GJ Reggie, correct?
I was, yeah.
Okay, good stuff. So what I was thinking today is rather than going back through all the stuff that I spoke about with her, maybe in this stream we're just going to jump into some games. We're going to watch you play, and we're going to kind of do the same thing that we did at the end of the stream last time. If that's
Yeah,
cool
I
with
can do
you?
that. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Timmy. Monster
So
Mundy
the,
kind.
yeah, the person RPWH in the chat is actually the guy over my shoulder.
Okay, good stuff. All right, guys. Three guests on our stream today, Ava. That's right.
I know. It's
All
'cause it's
right, cool.
Takeaway Tuesday.
No, it's all good. Now you got your headset running. It's the sound is a lot better. All right, cool. So yeah, let's jump into our session now, guys. Please confirm if you can see everything okay, please, guys. Day and night, much better. All right, good job. All right, cool. So you've been playing the 25-cent games. Is that correct, Tom?
Yeah, just 25 cents. Haven't made the dizzying heights of the $1 yet.
Okay, I understand. Yeah. What was James saying last time? We were saying that the jump between ones and threes was probably the next biggest
Yeah,
jump.
next big jump. Yeah, for
But
sure.
that's okay. Bankroll management is important. I can appreciate that. It'll be cool to see what the 25-cent games look like actually as well. When we did our original bankroll challenge, we didn't actually start at the 25s. We started at the ones as well. So I haven't had too much experience down here.
It is pretty fun. Like you see people betting pot, like in this pot here with Byron pair.
Yeah.
He bets pot on the 6. There's a heart. That shouldn't do too much for him. It actually helps us a lot more than him. And then obviously we can just engineer MP a spade if
Nice.
possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that works well.
Because you're still in position there. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right.
That's one thing I've like learned to try and use like abilities in the right order,
Right.
rather than just like throwing them away.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. And one of the things that I mentioned to it's a nice flop. One of the things that I mentioned
Yes,
to GJ Reggie as well was that EMP is probably one of the most OP cards in the game. There was even some discussion about pricing it at 4 instead of 3.
Yeah,
Simply because it can be so crushing in certain situations, especially when you convince somebody to put their whole stack in, and then you EMP flops, like put their stack in pre. And guys, FYI, I am not ghosting our friend Tom here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna watch him play, and then we're gonna discuss the hands after they've taken place, which is completely within the terms of service. And the terms and conditions on PokerStars, so we are well within our rights here. We just have to be careful not to inform Tom of what to do. We can't influence the outcome of a hand as it's playing out. So we're gonna try our best to avoid that.
see, what I don't know is, because obviously whenever you aren't in the blinds, you've got the button. How wide should you be opening from the button, or just open limping?
So I think GG Reggie asked a similar question. I think the trick is really it really has more to do with what your combination is than to do with the actual cards that you have. Although it's also kind of player dependent as well. So if you're against an opponent who's very aggressive pre-flop, who likes to 3-bet really, like a lot and put you under lots of weird situations pre-flop, you should tighten up your range to the kinds of hands that you can try and improve pre. So like for the most part, against most opponents, you're going to be opening suited connectors, low suited connectors, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then against, like for example, this player Art that we play all the time on my stream, if you start opening that kind of stuff, he 3-bets and he does lots of crazy stuff pre-flop, which makes it really hard for us to improve our hand in a meaningful way pre-flop. So what we end up doing, so for example, if you have 6-7 of diamonds, and then he 3-bets you really big pre-flop, even if you have an engineer and a reload and all that jazz, it's not going to be really easy for you to improve your hand with 7 high. But if you start the hand with King X, Ace X, Queen X, there are lots of ways for you to give yourself like big pairs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, for the most part, I mean, there are situations where I'm folding aces from the button if we have a really terrible combination to start.
Yeah, because I feel like the cards definitely mean a lot more.
They do.
Like when he uses all his points there, like I really don't mind having to fold to that AMP.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Especially so early.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, you know, whenever you can convince an opponent to spend all of their energy like that, especially in the smaller pots, that's exactly where you're going to make the most money. Because he puts them at such a huge disadvantage, and it's really hard to get yourself out of that hole sometimes, especially if you're playing really aggressively when they have low energy. Because they feel like they need to play scanners and stuff to see if they're going to hit flops, which just keeps them really, really nice and low.
Yeah.
So definitely don't be afraid to turn up the aggression when you have the point advantage, especially like really, really wide. Like in some cases you're opening any 2 cards just because you're trying to play your powers and you're trying to get them to fold pre-flop.
It's something I noticed a lot more for sure whenever I was watching your stream. It was like, let's see if we can engineer an ace or a club. No. I mean, when we see a king, it makes it less likely he has pocket kings. So we could actually be ahead here. We could have been ahead there, but
I like your thought process. I didn't. So what happened? Did you raise and then he 3-bet you?
No, I just limped and then he just open jammed just straight out.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. I think probably on balance the fold is lower variance, but I like where your thought process is at, and I think one of like the higher level skills in this game is definitely using card removal to your advantage. And like you said, when you play that engineer and you see a king, it makes it really hard for him to have kings. Which is actually funny that I say that, because on my stream recently, every time there's like 3 kings missing out the deck, they always have the case king, but...
Yeah, they have the other one. See, hopefully... Ooh. There's a jack. Oh, it's the 3.
Thank you, darling.
Calls.
So he picked the 3 in this case?
Yeah, he picked the 3.
Okay.
I think I can just engineer a safe card. I mean... We don't want to pick the kings. He could have a king. He could have 5-6, but I feel like the 5's the worst card. Because all that's beating us here is 5-6 or a random 4x, but I feel like he bets his 4x because people usually play quite face up. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, they do. I mean, and I think that's a really interesting point to make for the viewers as well. People do have a tendency to play their big hands a lot faster because there's so much more opportunity for people to try and improve on later streets. It's kind of similar to PLO, right? In PLO, you play in Parliament Omaha, guys. You play a lot more aggressively when you have big made hands because you're always concerned that your opponents are going to be able to improve. And in this game, even more so, because with all the powers, especially if somebody has full energy. Not only are you trying to protect your hand, but also you know that there's going to be lots of interesting ways for them to give themselves the second best hand. This
is the second time he's done it. Yeah, and we do have ace high. Okay, so that's just an easy fold.
Yeah, easy fold then.
Nice,
Yeah,
better
exactly.
ace. Yeah.
Just going back to that hand briefly as well, where you were picking out what the safe card was going to be. Obviously, a king isn't what necessarily what you want to do because it's an overcard to your jack, but it's not it's not that scary when he continues on the flop. Talking of card removal, that was a situation as well where the 7 does complete 5-6, but in the same engineer you also saw a 5. So that's also card removal for 5-6 as well. So you can take that into consideration as well.
That makes sense.
Yep.
So playing against this guy should actually be quite easy. We just wait for a big hand, limp, heel shove, and then we can just call it off.
Yeah. This is a weird. This is a weird phenomena that we see in Power Up. I think sometimes people might accidentally reg for these games, or they don't know how to use the powers at all, because you'll see people going through their entire game and not playing any powers whatsoever. Like they'll have 15 energy and 3 cards the entire game and they haven't played once. I think James has seen a lot of that as well.
So we only have 7 points, but we do have 2 Broadway cards. Problem is, if I engineer, and I engineer a king or queen, he can possibly have powers behind because he's got 15 points. We could just intel, I guess. See a king or queen, hopefully.
Now, the only problem with playing the intel there is if we do see a king or a queen, you still have the big blind to act behind you as well. So, so if you see the king, you can't shove and keep the king there because then, of course, you're allowing the button to play powers and remove that card from you. But what would be even worse is if you saw a king or a queen and you flatted thinking the king and the queen was going to stay there, and then the guy in the big blind upgrades and gives himself kings and then shoves.
Yeah, that's true.
Or plays scanner and throws it away, or plays upgrade and then throws the king away, or plays engineer and then throws the king away. So there's so being in the sandwich position, this is one of the things that me and James picked up on really early. Small blinds are just awful. Like, it's so rare that a small blind is really good. The only times I can think where being in the small blind three-handed is really beneficial is when you have a decent sized pair and you have an EMP and you have a disintegrate. Because what you can do is you can 3-bet buttons, or you can open really, really wide knowing that you're always going to be first to act against 2 opponents. You get lots of action from the button, you get lots of action from the big blind, and then you can disintegrate over like a card which is higher than your pair, EMP, and then get the rest of the chips in, and you've basically got the nuts every time. Or even better, you can do that with ace-king. You can do exactly the same thing with ace-king too, right? You can pump ace-king really big, and if it comes down kind of a dry flop like queen deuce 3 rainbow, you can disintegrate the queen, and then you can just EMP jam ace-king, and even if you get called, you're always going to have 2 overcards there for the most part.
Yeah, and I feel like if we are playing against this guy, Saba, he hasn't used a single power yet, so we don't really have to be worried too much with this player here. I mean, with no AMP, so we might as well just call Jack 10. Diamonds.
Yeah, I think Jack 10 is probably a call here.
Don't see any benefit in c-betting, to be honest. If it's a dry board, we will bet it quite a lot of the time, but sometimes I think I just want to check back. I can't really bet. I'm just losing so much of my stock. I mean, he could have reloaded the flush. All we can do here is, I guess, reload the jack and hope to see an 8, or go for a double reload and hit the flush.
Yeah, I like the fold. I think the fold is right. I also really like that you didn't stab this flop. We don't actually know these opponents that well. Sorry about my throat, you guys. I keep clearing my throat. We don't really know these guys very well. If we knew more about this guy and we knew that he check folds, you would always be betting that flop because you have 2 overcards as well as, sorry, 2 overcards to the flop on a really dry board. But I think against a complete unknown, I like the fact that you slow down here. And I like that you didn't choose to spend any points on that river because it's really hard for you to improve in a way that you're going to love. You have to find trips there, or you have to find a flush. And finding that one when you're going to reload too is pretty hard. In this situation, though, what did you just fold there a second ago?
7-8 suited, 7-8 clubs, or spades, sorry.
I think probably in this spot, it's just a fold pre-flop. It's just because when you get back to the button, you're going to have 10 points, so you can actually play a big combo in position. And now that you have button, now you've got 8, which is kind of isn't going to do much for you there. Even though 7-8 is
cards I've got.
Yeah. And it was another sandwich position as well, right? So when you played that scanner, even if you see a straight flush draw or 3 of a kind or you know, whatever, even if you see the absolute jackpot, you're not always going to be guaranteed to see those cards come down on the flop because the guy has to act behind you as well in the big blind. So I think
that's good that he folds. That's nice. Cause it gives us back position.
Yeah. Yeah, he should probably be getting you in there every single time, but.
So the reason why I'm limping here is in case he raises, we do hit the ace. In case he raises, then I can choose to reload my 6 or just go for like an engineer or something.
Yeah, I like that.
I think I mean, we could try and reload the 6 here, but once he checks, I feel like he doesn't have an ace. We can just try and lock the board and then go for it. Just save our points in case he does call.
You're speaking my language, man. You're speaking my language. I like it.
I think.
No. You. I think you ace that decision. Yeah, I mean, sure, sometimes he's going to have a queen or a four, and he's going to have a good shot at improving. But by shoving the flop, you give him a lot less cards to improve into, right? Especially if he already has a queen or a four. If you already have the ace there as well, it does make it hard for him to find two pair or better, you know. And I think when you only have about two big blinds, I think you're doing the right thing by just taking the variance and saving the points, because you're going to want those points in a bigger pot.
Problem is we can't really improve here much either. We're paying off too much of our stock. We could, once again, just go for like the double reload or something. But I think I can just fold and hope to see at least a high hard count.
The only thing I would consider there is maybe just playing that scanner, because you're not going to miss the 4 points. You're not giving up a good combo because you still have an engineer reload. And sometimes you can see the absolute miracle. But this time, rather than being in the sandwich position, you can always keep those cards, and you know they're always going to remain if you call. And then sometimes if you see the miracle, you can reload it into 2, and you pretty much can always get doubled up there, because you have approximately a pot size bet left. So once he makes that C bet, he's committed to calling with anything. So if you improve in any way, shape, or form there, you can just get the rest of the chips in, and it's a straight double up. And you're not going to miss those 4 points, like I said. So. Hey, Maya, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Late game, the small blind gets great because you can do all but one chips early game. It sucks. I agree. I agree completely with James. Yeah, and that's exactly the spot that I was talking about a second ago, James, about being in the small blind where you can always act first against both of your opponents is pretty awesome when you have like the right kind of defensive powers like EMP or disintegrate and stuff like that. Ooh.
I thought he'd taken the 10.
So on that river, it checked all the way down, and then on the river you shoved?
I just checked it to him and then shoved.
Okay.
Well, there's not a whole lot we can do here. Oh, wow.
Oh, man. You should always be getting action there as well. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I know. I mean...
Alright, I'm just going to cover up your face for a second. Oops. Sorry, guys. I'd like to get a third monitor here so I can make these a little bit more streamlined, but I think we're doing okay. Let me just go and check out where we're at here. Didn't even need to do that. Shout out to everyone who's hosting us right now. Predator, of course, Sebastian Grinds, Free Roll, Ace King, Queen Jack 10, Fernando Afonso, Beat the Deck, and of course the ever-present PokerStars. Thank you very much for your support, you guys. Tom, how does it feel to be live on the PokerStars Twitch?
Ooh, very nice, very nice. Very nice indeed. Yeah, so I'll update that when the bankroll. I felt like at the end there wasn't a whole lot I could have done because I was down to one big blind towards the end.
Yeah. The only other thing that I might get you start consider is when you're in these situations where you've got like 3 big blinds, right? And you have a scanner, engineer, and an EMP in your hands. These are the kinds of situations where I think you can afford to just generate as much variance as possible and do lots of these tricky moves like going all in but one chip. So
Yeah.
so there was a situation there where you had 10-5 off and he limped the button. I think even though 10-5 off is complete trash, I think this is a great opportunity for you to do all but one chip, knowing that on almost any flop you're going to have a way to improve your hand with having such a big combination, right? Yeah. So even if you have 7 deuce off, the worst case scenario is you do all but one and then an EMP jams, right? But you don't even hate it that much because you've still got 3 big blinds. He hasn't shown too much aggression, and with a hand like 7 deuce, you're rarely going to be dominated. What I mean dominated here is he's rarely going to have the hands that you really hate, like ace 7 or ace deuce or stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I get you.
So even if the worst case happens, you're still going to be 60-40 a lot of the time. But if he does decide to call, it puts you in that amazing situation where you can play all of your powers before him and then you can lock the board. So sometimes you just make a great hand and you can just shove and then you're like happy days and you're good. But then in the situations where you don't, you can scanner and you can throw those away and then you can engineer and you have 5 opportunities to find something that has value and then get the rest of the chips in then and there. Or of course, the real value in doing that is trying to get the folds pre-flop, of course.
Yeah. Sure.
Because obviously if you can get him to fold and give up big blinds, if you can get him to give up 1 big blind when you've got 3 big blinds, you're increasing your stack by a pretty huge chunk.
Another quarter. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely do like that. that idea because I saw, who was it? I was watching, and this wasn't even on Power Up though. People just going all in and leaving themselves. I was actually watching Tonka's YouTube videos from years ago
Yeah.
about like the high stakes hyper turbos.
Right.
And he'd effectively shove, but he'd leave himself with like 200 chips just in case it was on like the money bubble. So it's
Right.
like 3 paid or whatever.
Yeah.
He could fold if the next 2 big stacks both went all in.
That's right.
Even in that like scenario.
Yeah, I've actually watched exactly the same video. And in this case, he's doing it kind of for ICM, right? So he's doing it because he's trying to get away. He's trying to ladder, give himself the opportunity to ladder just in case some sort of weird setup happens. Yeah, I really like that as well. In this case, of course, though, we're doing it just because we're going to have such a cool way to improve our hand first to act. I do apologize for my throat, you guys. I need to. I think I need some strepsils or something.
He disintegrates Jack, which is interesting. So I feel like he has a flush draw because why would he disintegrate a Jack if he had a Queen? So I'm happy to call this bet here.
Yeah, Tom, you're speaking my language, man. Yeah. Speaking my language.
Once it breaks, I'm just going to give him a chance to bluff. Okay, he just checks back.
Awesome. I love this play. I love this play. I like your read as well. I think your head's definitely in the right place for power up, man. You're definitely... so much of this game is trying to derive information based on what you think people are going to do with specific hands, right? And you're exactly right. On that kind of a board, if you have a queen, you're gonna destroy the card that removes the flush draw as well as a potential pair as well, right? And of course, if you have a queen, he has the ace of clubs there, right?
Yeah, ace of clubs, but no second club.
But that makes sense as well,
same
right? So it's essentially a flush draw. He's just hoping for a third club so he can upgrade. So he's definitely in the category of people who he's maybe overestimating the likelihood that he's going to improve into a flush there. But what he's forgetting is essentially in order to improve into a flush, what he's asking for is running clubs, because it still has to come another club, and then when he upgrades, that's essentially the next card to come off the top of the deck. But also props to him, he disintegrated, but then he didn't bet, so he wasn't betting on the fact that the card was coming. So I don't mind his play.
Okay, this is a pretty tricky river. Obviously, we pair our 5. I don't mind just betting really small and folding to a raise. Yeah, they just snap fold sitting out. Interesting. Just in case, because if I check, he almost always fires there with his bluffs, and it's really hard for me to call.
Right. I mean, I don't know if this guy specifically does it. I think a lot of these guys they're not thinking on that level, but you have to be thinking on that level as you move up. So you're absolutely right. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of scope in this game to put in blocker bets, which is actually a move that on stream I've spoken about a lot. I've said I've said a lot on stream that I'm like not a fan of the blocker bet. The only blocker bets, the only blocker bets that I really like, which are things that we do in spinning goes a lot. I like when blocker bets can also be mixed in with value bets. So like a really awkward value bet that's also a blocker bet I'm really into. So having a pair of 5s and betting there and then folding to a raise, I think is a really cool spot to do exactly that. Because sometimes you can get called by ace high and stuff like that too.
I feel like I want to cycle out maybe my engineer, or not my engineer, sorry, my intel.
Yep.
Just so I can try and get something in that I can actually improve my hand with, because there's like not even a scanner. Like I'm kind of looking for like an upgrade or something.
Right.
Because obviously engineer AMP is like a nice combination, but if I can get something like, say there was another diamond there, and I could pull a diamond in my hand, I'm just gonna check back with ace high.
I've actually got 2 comments about this hand. First of all, whenever there's a player sitting out, I think you should be opening any 2 cards basically. Just because you have like one huge obstacle out of your way that you don't have to try and get through. And also in that situation, I've been doing this a little bit more recently. If you guys out there could tell me how you feel about it. I think you're correct in saying that you want to cycle that intel because you've got 2/3 of what is going to be a bomb combo. You just need a reload or an upgrade. I've been playing intel pre-flop in those situations to try and get the steal through more frequently pre. Because with ace deuce off, you're not really loving much. Like you're not really in love with it, especially as you can't engineer upgrade into aces or engineer reload, right? So I wouldn't mind on that button. First of all, opening any 2 anyway, just because there's one guy sitting out, but also playing the intel pre-flop, which puts the big blind in a really awkward situation. Because if you're the big blind and you're a thinking player, you're aware of the fact that if they ever upgrade or do anything like that, you're always going to know what that card is that they put into their hand. So they're already at a big disadvantage pre-flop, and they don't really know what combination you hold either. So,
I mean, just rips. What I could do, what I could do is try and engineer a 6 or 7 and call. But does he do this with anything? Like he obviously may do this with overpairs. He could just do this with his size and stuff, which then I'll be marginally ahead of.
Mhm.
But I don't mind saving it because it's only like we're still in the early blinds.
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
again,
normally if I'm deeper, I'd go for that kind of like engineer, see if I can spike like a 7 or 6 and then
yeah,
call.
yeah. I mean, you know, like, and here's the thing as well. Like, if it does turn out he's got aces there, like every single time, once you got a pair, you're not a million miles off of improving. You know, so even when you completely mess up, you still have some decent equity. I think it's almost close to a flush draw. It might be like 33% against an ace or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think somebody did the math at some point, but it's a decent chunk of equity that you get back. Again, we don't know this guy particularly well. I would say most people that are doing that there are doing that either with aces or kings or queens or big pairs, and then maybe ace king sometimes if they're really not knowing what they're doing. Because for the most part, when he has 15 energy, right, even with ace king, you want to just put in a big raise and then try and play your points post flop, right? But yeah, no, I think your head's in the right place for sure.
Okay, let's see. So like he just upgrades just like flat out. That's like a hand I'd like to have because I like just engineer upgrade.
Yeah, I mean you got a really good looking combination now. This is definitely the best combination of the game. Once you have enough energy to spend it, which you do, of course. You got 14, excuse me.
So you know the way, not reload, but what's upgrade? Upgrade takes like the next card that's coming in the deck.
Yes.
Does reload do any of the same thing? Like, does it also take the next two cards?
Yeah. So they always draw off the top of the deck. But the difference between reload and upgrade is upgrade gives you the option to see what the card is and then decide whether or not you want to keep it. So upgrades are really good when you have combination draws. And what I mean by combination draws is you can upgrade into a gutter and you can upgrade into a flush, but the card that you want isn't both, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So having a reload is great because it gives you a little bit more flexibility. But also it can be bad because there are some situations where you have to decide whether or not you want to throw away your flush draw to go for the straight draw, or you throw away your straight draw to go for the flush draw.
Yeah. So this guy's got 6 points. If he folds and he limps, I might just raise pocket threes.
Okay.
But we'll see. Otherwise, I can just try and set mine. Okay. I don't mind just checking back here.
Yep, I dig it.
It's actually not a bad board. Definitely could be a lot worse. And then we do hit the full house.
It's not a bad turn.
I know, like I could check, but I feel like I don't mind a bet. I could check but would really be relying on him having 2 clubs and then spiking a club. Okay,
oh,
well,
baby.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Jack 6.
What is he doing?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Welcome to the 25 cents, ladies and gentlemen. Nice hand.
It does happen.
No, you're totally right. Just fast play it for all the reasons that we've been talking about earlier. That turn is awesome as well because if he has a single club in his hand, he's always going to see the river. He's always going to try and get there against you. But what he doesn't know is he can't get there against you. I mean, you know, the worst case scenario is you bet and then he disintegrates your 3. But even then, you're still probably going to have the best hand. And then even in that situation as well, you're not going to lose a bunch of money. You know, you're just building the pot for later streets. I'm not expecting him to blow up with Jack 6, but
yeah, I know. That's a bit. So now he's up to 12 points again. I'm happy just to go back to limping. Like that ace hand, I'm pretty sure I'm doing it anyway.
Okay.
Like I'm raising with most hands. Whenever he's down to like sort of down to 10 points, because if we can just raise and he can use all his points pre-flop, we can just fold.
By the way, I'm a big fan of your comment about raising the threes against the guy that has 6 points.
Yeah.
First of all, because you should get a lot of folds, which is probably the biggest value that you have when you do that kind of thing. Cool. I like your play here too. Second of all, though, because even if you completely whiff the flop, even if it comes all high or whatever, you can still give yourself flushes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, fit the 10. Nice.
Nice. Very good game.
Stick that in the bankroll.
Put it straight in the BR, man.
Yeah. So that's 1 out of 2.
Yeah. I'm very impressed, Tom. I think your head's definitely in the right place here, man. I think you're playing very well.
It helps just watching the stream though. Like I spend a lot of time now just in this stream. Like George, whenever George, DJ Reggie, after the chat when she was in here, getting her lesson. I was just kind of sitting here, and I was like, "Oh, that makes a lot more sense." Than I thought.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
like,
you know,
that's why they do that. Ah.
it's a funny game, and sometimes there's things that are so obvious that you kind of just need to be shown once to even be like, oh right, that makes so much sense. Like that, that's cool that people are doing that. But yeah, guys, all you out there in Twitch land, the 25 cents are looking mighty fine, you guys, mighty fine. So I suggest if you're interested in building a bankroll, especially if you're starting from a very, very small investment, I think Power Up is definitely the way to go, guys, 100%. As you can see, the games are extremely soft because there's obviously a big gap in information. But also because Power Up is such a skilled game, the overall variance of building a bankroll is going to be much, much lower than if you were to play Zoom, for example, or definitely sit and goes, nine-handed sit and goes and stuff like that, if that's your bag. And definitely MTTs, definitely way less variance than MTTs.
Yeah, like I can show chat. If you guys see the, interesting. The 4 days I've played Power Up, I haven't had a losing session yet.
Right.
And that's just playing the 25 cents.
Playing the 25s, those are good days, man.
Yeah, and that's literally just that.
Are you after this hand, could you go back to that thing really quick? So are you keeping track of your wins and losses there somewhere?
Yeah, absolutely everything.
Nice, cool.
Well, because this guy does this again.
Yeah,
let's see if we can. See, that's interesting. I mean, he could have a king. That's kind of risky. I'd rather. I'm just gonna fold.
Yeah,
I mean, just see
if
no card.
If the blinds were like,
higher,
if the blinds were much higher, I think you can just always call there, and if he has a king, he has a king. It seems like this guy is just punting, to be honest. That's like the second time he's just shipped, spending.
Sitting on.
Oh my gosh, what's going on?
Yeah, I folded because I was like, he's just gonna shovel in.
Yeah. Okay, so now the race is on to stack the other guy as quickly as possible,
yeah, exactly.
So you can get that sweet sit out money. But no, yeah, it's and guys, I would definitely suggest you do exactly as Predator does here and keep track of your games, just to sort of measure yourself and measure your progress, and also to sort of like manage your bankroll more effectively. If you guys are interested in getting your hands on a calculator that's already made, like it's an Excel document, go across to our website, guys. Under tools, we have a little bankroll tracker thing, which is the same as I used when I was doing my bankroll challenge. In fact, I still use it now, even though the bankroll challenges have sort of come to an end.
So this guy just seems to like to fold everything.
Yeah, so Monster Man.
I am probably gonna be raising a lot more here.
Okay. Monster Man, yeah, I agree, dude. I think that was definitely a good play with the engineer to remove. That's actually a topic that we've spoken about at some depth. Using the engineer to remove cards that are bad for your hand or could be perceived to be bad for hand is what we're calling range removal. And I did an entire article on range removal and exactly how you go about doing that. And that was a perfect example. By playing the engineer, he's picking a safe turn. In this case, that was the deuce when he had 2 pair, and he managed to remove the 10, which would have ended up giving him, which would have ended up busting him. And I think that was a great spot to do it as well when you've got a really strong mid hand.
Interesting spot, now.
Richie Rob.
Sometimes he checks to me, but I don't know how this guy plays.
Richie Rob also hasn't had a losing session in Power Up. He's played 0 games and he's had 0 losses. My man. That's 100%, mate. That's 100% win rate.
Don't worry. I'm sure if he played it though, he'd bubble every time. Second place every time.
The world famous bubble boy.
I don't think I'm calling here. There's no need to waste any points. Still fairly low blinds. He's down to 8 points. I'll just take it. Because he could have a queen here and I could be essentially drawing dead. So you don't know if this guy checks back some queens or anything.
Yeah.
I definitely would if I was against someone who I knew was aggressive, so.
Sure, I like it. I like it.
Kind of want to just get rid of this deploy, see if it helps us out. Sure. Okay, so he's using more points. Nice.
That's what we like. Very nice. Yep, I love it. The only thing I would say here is, if you were playing better opponents, I I think probably no one's ever going to believe that c-bet, because why would you? Why, because like unless you're deploying with ace 3 and you turn a 3, I guess that might make sense.
Or
But
pocket threes or
yeah,
something.
but like you've already kind of correctly profiled this guy really well. You've already picked up on the fact he seems like he's pretty tight. And so I think for that reason, just do what you're gonna do. If it works, it works.
It's already quite a big pot, and it's not the nicest flop for us, but we do have a reload and an intel. Don't mind checking back, gives us a gut shot. Cool. Well.
Ooh.
So he doesn't know that this 6 is coming. We block the straight, but it also doesn't improve our hand. We still have queen high and he's EMP'd, so I think we've got to fold, but it doesn't really make any sense. So unless he's got like a jack and is trying to protect against us drawing a straight or a flush, I don't really know. But he can just take it. He's only got 3 points left anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a close one, because you have that intel in play and he's letting you get to the river where you can play more powers. Because it's half pot, it might even be worth calling there just to get to the river so that you can try and give yourself that flush, because it was the 6
that's
of
the
clubs.
thing, he EMP'd though. That's why, because I was going to. That's what I was going to do, but he EMP'd.
He EMP'd, but he didn't go all in.
Oh yeah.
Right. So if you flat there, he lets you get to the river and you can play your powers on the river. The only reason why that might be a little bit dangerous, and I think most people don't do this. This is kind of rare. There are some people who do the infamous EMP clone EMP. So if he has a decent hand there, what he could do is EMP and bet 400 and convince you to call because you think you can spend points on the river, and then clone that same EMP and then play an EMP and then put in another value bet on the river.
I also feel like I should have raised this pre. This is the first time I haven't raised the button pre in Doom, which is probably why he's raising.
You've also got to sit out as well, so remember.
Yeah.
I think it probably was a raise, but yeah, just play.
I think I'm just gonna fold.
It's. I don't think you're gonna lose much by. You're not losing much by not raising it, but I think that's probably the correct play. You got a nice suited hand. You've got position, and you have an engineer.
I know I was tempted to. I probably should have called it, but I just.
Your man in the big blind there as well, of course, has he had 9 points as well, which restricts some of what he can do.
I mean, he can see that card as well.
Okay.
I don't mind just betting, because once he checks, we'll be bluffing quite a lot here. And another jack. I mean, if he calls and it's a heart, we can reload to it. So.
You have an intel in play, right?
10. Yeah, we both do. So we both can see these cards.
Okay.
So our pair's just been counterfeited. 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay. No.
No. I messed up. I was gonna do this and then call with the queen high, and then just check down with the queen high.
Dude, you
could have board. It is the ace. Could I have made it straight? I was trying to see.
Yeah. The 9. Wait, is it?
Could I?
Wait,
I was trying to see.
wait. I might be confused. I thought the 9 gave you a straight there. What was your hand to begin with? You had
8-6.
8-6. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Was there an 8 out there?
10. No.
Oh, okay, no. I take it back then.
Yeah. See, that's what I was wondering.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I got confused. I like this shove. I think this shove is cool.
I was trying to see an ace so I could get to an ace high, pair, because I felt like he didn't have anything, but unfortunately he had the ace. 8-7. Let's see a king.
Oh,
nice.
Hold it. Nice.
Okay. We're both down to 2 points, so still very much alive.
EMP clone EMP is a myth. Only the stories of Power Up gods have been said to use this strategy. Exactly, man. No, sorry, I do apologize. Yeah, I don't think you could have given yourself the straight. Chat, tell us if you could have given himself the straight. It's kind of annoying anyway because I like the fact that you played your I like the fact that you played the engineer. I think that was right with looking at the size of the pot and looking at your stack size. I think that was definitely the right play. There was plenty in there. I think maybe I don't know, maybe Queen High is a good pick.
I know.
I was just wondering if maybe we save the reload, but
yeah, I probably could have saved the reload and checked because I mean I didn't actually expect him to have ace high. I felt like he would have bet with ace high, which is why I was drawing for it.
Monster Mun is saying that he blew the straight, but it's it what? Okay, we'll have to go back. We'll have to go back and look at the hand history.
Yeah.
It certainly looked like it's me. Oh, by the way, when you had ace king just now, I think that should always be a shove pre-flop in the same as it would. Yeah, the same as it would be. The blinds are so big, you don't want to allow him to see flops because it just wrecks your equity so hard. Easy game. All right, that's definitely a good card to see. As long as there's no queen.
Jack. It's unlucky.
Okay, no, dude. Here's something else you could have done in this situation, right? You could have upgraded and then thrown away the queen.
Yeah, I thought it was reload.
Yeah. I mean, and what's really cool. As
soon as I looked down. Yeah.
Right. What's really cool about that situation as well is, if you see a 3, you know that that's what he's shoving, right? So it's like easy game. We can just call with the jacks, right? If you see a queen, you're like, well, he probably wouldn't be shoving a 3 here if he can see a queen. So then it's really easy for us to decide whether or not that card that you see is going to be a bad one for you. Sometimes the second card is the card that he wants, but you're still not going to be folding jacks, obviously.
So we're somehow still alive.
It's all good.
Somehow still alive.
You're just hunting for that sit-out money now. Oh, he's all in.
Definitely could have gone for the upgrade. He's all in now. Definitely should have gone for the upgrade. I thought I had reload for some reason.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's like those. When you make that split second decision and then you look down and you're like, oh no, oh, it sucks so hard.
If I see a 10 there, I might just raise or jam with only 5 points on him because he's raising a lot there just to get those dead money.
Yeah, I like it.
I'd rather just take the points rather than like give away another half a big blind.
Alternatively, you could have probably shoved Jack 7 there. How many big blinds did you have?
Only 3.5.
Okay.
See, I forget about that. It's
right.
More in case he does something like this.
Yeah, except how many points did he have last hand? He had 6, right?
Yeah, 5.
He had 5.
5, something like that.
5 or 6. So 6, yeah. He's very restricted on what he can do, and for the most part, winning that big blind is kind of a big deal. It's almost the same as playing a normal heads-up hyper, right? I'm not sure how much of that you've done. I'm saying that like you've played a lot of those in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, only a few.
Are you aware of heads-up Nash?
I am not.
Okay, well, write down heads-up Nash equilibrium, and then I'll get you to take a look at that after the stream. There was a gentleman by the name of Nash. He was a game theorist, and he created a theory where two opponents. I think when he invented the theory, it had to do with flipping coins. It had nothing to do with poker. But basically, people have interpreted the Nash equilibrium to make a set of charts where you can actually see what kind of hands you can shove at very small stack depths. That would make, and if both opponents used this strategy, they would eventually even out. So it's kind of like the GCO baseline of exactly what you can and can't do. The reason that it's really cool is you can adjust around it. You can decide whether or not your opponent is being more crazy, which means you can be a lot wider. But at least it gives you some point of reference to be like, hey, Jack 7 is always a shove in this situation, right? And I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure if I'll take a look at my chart and tell you exactly how big you can shove.
Yeah. I also just noticed in the 7-3 hand where I shove, because I'm watching it back on stream.
Yeah.
I actually saw 2 of the 3s, so even that like 2 of the 3s get discarded by him.
Right.
Picked the 7.
Right.
So I should have taken the 7 and maybe instead of the 3 and kept the 2 just to make a different pair.
Yeah.
Just unlucky we got colored.
Yeah.
But I felt like we had to go for it with our blinds.
Yeah, I think you're right, dude. All right, let me just take a quick look at this. Excuse me. All right, so Jack 7 off, according to our friend Nash, who I know Tony hates. You can actually shove up to 8.5 big blinds profitably. So
that's a lot of times.
Isn't that crazy how big you can shove those kinds of hands? And then let me give you another example that tends to shock people a lot. You can shove. Wait, which is this suited? You can shove 7-6 off up to 10.7 big blinds profitably.
Yeah. See, I think people underestimate the hands like 7-6 and stuff as well.
Yep. Yeah, and I think people have a tendency to overestimate how well they can play post flop, and they have a tendency to underestimate how much you actually win when you steal a big blind for free, without having to take any equity. So definitely write that down, and we can have a look at that on another day or something, or we'll talk about it after stream or something, because there's a wealth of information to be learned there. The only pitfall, guys, whenever you're using stuff like Nash, is people have a tendency to always misinterpret them massively. So they'll start doing some really, really bad stuff thinking that they're doing absolutely the right thing. It's just important to be aware of the fact that with all of these strategies, with all of these sort of GTO things, for the most part, it's just giving you a baseline, and it's really important that you adjust away from it to try and exploit your opponents. Now, that's kind of contradictory because GTO is supposed to be unexploitable, but you catch my drift. And if you watch enough of my spin streams, I talk about it to no end. So make sure you make sure you check out those as well if you haven't done so already, guys.
I should have been well. I mean, he's saying he has King 7 or King Jack. I was hoping to intel see a club deploy, and then we'd see if another club was going to come, and then call. But it doesn't. I mean, he has so many bluffs as well. Because we know a diamond's not coming, but I feel like he kept the 7. He could have King 7 of diamonds as well. Yeah.
I actually
I don't know, he's got a lot of bluffs there.
Excuse me. I actually missed the beginning of that hand, so I can't comment. But Monstermon, thank you for the link. That's actually the exact link that I use as well. Yes, exactly. But yeah, I'll teach you how to read it. It should be relatively straightforward. But lots and lots of interesting stuff there, and I think it's important that we remember that Power Up, aside from all of its craziness, when all the powers are removed, is still a 3-handed hyper. So sometimes it's appropriate to use things like Nash when you're in those low point situations.
Oh no, he discarded. Wow. I would have called. I thought he kept the 2 cards.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he kept them, so I thought he kept 7. I mean, I'm calling here, sure. He can obvious 5. I mean, he can obvious 3 as well. It's really good. Really good river. I think we just let him fire it off. Cool.
Right. Okay. So the only thing I'm going to say here is, by not shoving when the 4 comes down, you're giving him an opportunity to disintegrate that 4.
Yeah.
Which completely trashes your hand if he has Ace 5 or Ace 3.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And it's not like you need to be concerned about losing value because your shove is so small in proportion to the pot. He's going to have to call a whole lot. And also because if he does have a deploy like that, he's still going to deploy the flush and he's still going to call anyway, right? So he still has an opportunity to improve his hand in a way that he thinks is going to be good enough to call.
Yeah.
So that's one of these disintegrate mistakes that are like, oh god, why didn't I just shove and then I locked the board?
What have I just done?
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely one of those moments. I have to apologize. I was kind of hoping that it would happen so it would illustrate the point, but no, I'm glad it did.
The mild anti-sweat. block the flush. Is it 2? Cool. Get up 2 pair. Makes it less likely we have a 6. He may just not believe us that we have an 8 and think is show the 5. Do it and show the 5. Show the 5. Oh, okay. I don't see him. Yeah, we're not folding now.
I mean, I think in this situation, it's probably really hard for him to call no matter what, because even if he sees the 5 of clubs, that's still a pretty big card.
Straight. Yeah, we could still have
just straight flush draw.
Yeah, like an up and down straight flush draw.
Right.
Well.
Yeah.
Got a scanner reload with 2 clubs.
I like the call. I like the call pre-flop. I mean, it is on the bigger side. Like, he does just straight 3x it. But the cool thing about having a scanner deploy here is if you do have a flush draw, you're going to have infinity shots at it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So if you flop the flush draw, you're going to have the turn to hit it, you're going to have the river to hit it, and then you're going to have after the river to hit it twice, because you can scanner and then throw away the scanner and then deploy again. So you're going to have 4 shots at a flush draw if you actually make it on the flop.
Yeah, that's why I quite like this.
Which actually gives you the best hand, by the way, or you'll have better results.
Yeah, yeah. No, it definitely is fun, because even like at the 25 cents, it's really good to see just how other people play, because you do get, like, there have been some people that have just completely taken me to town, and I'm just like, oh. So yeah, and this time with Queen 2 though, I think I just let it go. It's only 150, like it's still early blinds.
At these much lower stakes, I mean, it seems like there's plenty of action. And it seems, it seems like sometimes I think it might be easier just to move down and play the dollars or whatever, and just have like an easy life and just always win.
Just put in some serious volume.
Just volume, not volume at all. Basically, you're not even trying to do anything clever. You're just waiting for people to make a mistake, and then you just get a whole stack. But then I guess that's most of poker. But
yeah, you just slap me with a min raise there. That's fold. Let's take a nice stab at it with an absolute 0 equity hand. Ooh, Chinese is here.
Ezra. Aries says, "Hey Nick, I have some interesting news. Take a look at the second name on the leaderboard. Let's take a look."
I think it is.
Oh my fucking man!
My
man. Number of KOs 26. Yeah. Total amount won in KOs $15. 1 times 55 PCA 2019 satellite ticket. My man. When is the actual satellite? Oh my god. Wait. Okay. Wait. So wait. You're second as well, and first just gets a straight platinum pass.
That's insane. Yeah,
Holy
that's the
shit.
James Hartigan free roll one.
Yeah. And Poker Stapes, right? Oh my god, Aries, my man, that is seriously big news. Guys, go and click that link and go and check out where Aries is at. So you're still in the running to come first as well, Aries? That's just the current leaderboard, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Wow, awesome. Oh my god. Aries. You have to wear an OP poker patch when you're on the final table at the PCA, man.
Oh, that'll be sick.
Oh baby. This is a pretty sick flop, speaking of that.
Let's hope he has a flush draw or an 8.
or a 9, or a jack, or a 7.
Just anything, please, sir.
Yeah, I mean, this is another great example of a situation where you can just be betting and you know that you're. I mean, the fact that it's a double paired board makes it you got a lot less action. Mm-hmm. But the fact that there are 2 flush draws out there means that you're going to get some action. I'm really interested in how you size this river bet now.
Yeah, I know. It's I am betting, but it's don't want to look like.
Oh my man!
Yeah, I like it.
My man, I love this. I love this bet
force
size.
Him to use, force him to use stuff. I was either going like
very
small
good, Tom.
or
very
just
very good.
polarizing. Yeah.
No, this is awesome. I mean, I don't know if maybe that was a little bit too big, but I like the fact that you're thinking along those lines because you're trying to maximally incentivize him to improve into a flush, or maximally incentivize him to try and giving himself an 8 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. No, I love your line. I think probably a little bit less is probably better because you're trying to get called.
Maybe even just pot. Yeah.
Like you want him to kind of hero call with an ace as well sometimes. So like if maybe he has a flush draw with an ace there and he gets there on the river, you kind of are pricing the ace out. But
so he's used pars before as well, but he has not used a par yet, and it makes me kind of want to just use my deploy and try and find an EMP.
Yeah. I like that. I like where your head is at there too. I think, yeah, you've got a scanner reload, which is obviously a really good combo. The deploy doesn't do too much for you except for specific situations.
Yeah, it's like I don't really want to deploy this board. We still have kings. I don't see any benefit in raising just yet until something like that happens, and then I'm like, that's horrible.
Did you limp in with the kings here?
Yeah, just limped in.
Okay, I think probably you're still at stack depth where you want to be raising the kings pre.
Raising? Okay.
Just building the pot a little bit, but also without an EMP, it's kind of hard to play in a lot of situations with these kings as well, because if it comes down a really ugly flop, you're in really bad shape a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's like no disintegrate.
The only reason why I think it's probably unbalanced to raise is just because you're a bit deeper. And then of course, if you were really shallow, you'd just be shoving the kings pre.
Because he checked back the turn, which he can do. And I really want to pay him off. I really do. Nice. Oh, two pair.
Oh,
two
unlucky,
pair.
man.
That's why you don't limp.
Yeah, well, you know that it's it swings and roundabouts. I just think that you were both quite deep, so you want to start building the pot. If you were really shallow, as I said, you just want to be shoving those kings and giving him. You want to maximally incentivize him to improve into a pair of some variety and call.
See, I was tempted to go for like a deploy raise, and hopefully it was like a queen or jack or something, and then he's like, "Wow, well he's just raised into me, and I have queen or jack."
I mean, if you know the guy is really aggressive, then it's definitely a situation where you can be limping, because then when they isolate, you can shove over the top, and that's a great spot for you because you are increasing the size of the pot that you're going to win when they fold, which is going to happen a bunch. Thank you, darling. That looks amazing. Is this handmade pasta? Oh my god! No, handmade pasta. Unbelievable. I'm just kidding. Thank you, darling.
I'm just gonna start raising more. He likes folding.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, having 8-5 off and having a combination is better than having kings.
Yeah, exactly.
because it's hard to improve your kings a lot of the time.
And we have a nice combination here.
I mean, if you have a disintegrate or an EMP though, then it's definitely a raise because you can just build the pot and then EMP bad flops.
Yeah.
Or build the pot and then disintegrate bad flops, or just like try and break up the flush draws and break up the straight draws. I have 3 weeks to overtake the leader, dude. You gotta do it, man. You've got to do it now. This is a cool turn.
Yeah. If he bets, I'm calling, and he checks. We haven't seen him use any power-ups, but I don't want to bet big, and then he just disintegrates the 9, and then I'm like, nice. Bluff. It'll be one of the first bluffs he's made, but it would be nice. Checks back. I don't know if it's worth giving this guy the opportunity to bluff because he just hasn't done it yet.
Right. Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think you just bet 400 there and just hope to get called.
Yeah, and just hope to get called.
I mean, again, by putting more money in the pot, you're incentivizing him to play energy, even though apparently he doesn't know how to play any energy.
Because he did it earlier. Like he has played cards before. He just has refused to do it yet. The reason why I'm raising is because he's limped in. He's only got, well, like sort of 5, not even, like 5 big blinds left, 4 big blinds left. Means if he shoves without an EMP, I obviously have deploy, I have scanner, and I have reload to try and improve my flush draw, or my king, or my 5, etc.
Yep. No, I like it. I like it. Having a suited hand with the scanner deploy is awesome. Again, for the reasons that we were talking about, those flush draws, right?
Yeah. Okay. This guy's hopefully.
looks like he's giving up the little live.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing anymore. Is he just gonna shove here, or is he gonna limp again? Is just gonna
Oh
fold?
my god, he's just keep giving it up now. He's giving it up. There's no way he can come back from this. Aries, man, I'm so pumped for you. Honestly, I don't know if I made a big enough deal. That's really exciting, man. I really want you to do it. Really want you to get there. And then that also means that I can justifiably spend money on OP Poker patches, man.
I'm just getting rid of the deploy.
And obviously, once you get there, Aries, what you got to do is you got to tell everybody that you paid for your PCA ticket with playing just Power Up, of course. don't mention poker.
Look, he's using pars.
Okay. Did he reload 2?
He reloaded 1. He's still thinking about it. This is actually insane. Dude, you got a call any 2. Almost any 2. He still has two cards left. Like he could. I don't even know what he has, but
so okay. Here's an interesting spot though as well, right? This is basically for the game, and he's got almost all of his stack in the middle. Rather than putting them all in and just gambling with them, you could have just limped in because it means that you can play power still.
Yeah.
That's an 8.
Yeah. Okay, we took that one down after a crazy long time. He just did not know what he wanted to do.
All right, man, keep him going. Yeah, I'm liking the power up action right now. Just chipping away, increasing that bankroll. How is the bankroll looking, by the way?
So minus the donation.
Yep.
Actually, I can just take the spreadsheet over while we haven't got a table. So the very first day we started was one of our biggest winning days.
Okay.
And this was us playing we played a bit of 2NL, and then I went, you know what, I'm going to do a bankroll challenge. So it kind of kicked off from there. We were up $8. So our peak was 62, and then we just had like a really horrible, like a week or two, just getting crushed. There's like a graph here, but it's not great at the minute. You can see where it just kind of goes.
All right.
So we are on the rise. We're after that win, actually, we're probably somewhere in the region of $60.
Cool.
Literally, it's just like I haven't yet to have a losing day with.
All right, nice.
With Power Up.
Deal Power Up.
Because that day I played Power Up, but I actually made profit on Power Up, but I lost money playing the sit and goes.
Okay.
And then I've just been playing Power Up.
Nice.
It is fun because maybe like the idea could then be I could like rig my challenge and it's like play Power Up until maybe $1. And then instead of playing the 50-cent turbos, I could play like maybe $1 45 mans, like maybe not turbos to reduce variance or something.
Sure.
But while continuing to play Power Up, if obviously like if I'm winning in it by what I stop playing. So.
I like it.
And it is fun.
Oh, that's right, Eric. Yeah, don't mention that OP Poker is still not available in Denmark. Yeah, exactly. Shit, you're totally right.
Is that just the one place?
No. There's a couple places. I think it might be Spain as well, but I don't think there's a reason for it not to be in Denmark. At least I don't know of a reason for it not to be in Denmark. I think okay. I'll talk about this after. But there is a reason why it's not in. There is a reason it's not in Spain. Yeah, wait. This hand is stopping me in my tracks here. 1 sec.
And the 8's a pretty safe card too. Because if he doesn't know Power Up, he might have forgotten that I can actually see these cards. And he's like, he raised me, the aces came, I can bluff the ace. Okay. I mean, you can't top the straight. Is he just gonna cry and call with something? I mean, he still also can't have the flush because there's only 2 clubs on the board.
Right.
He can't keep all 3. 8, 9, 9, 10.
That would be a cool variant. You can keep all 3.
Yeah, keep all 3. Then
okay, so let's talk about this hand. First of all, I think once you see the 2 of hearts, I think I like just shoving ace king there pre-flop.
Okay.
But you can calling's fine. The only reason why I think it's a shove pre-flop is once you've spent that energy and he's got 10 points and 2 cards to play. Post flop, his points and his powers get way more powerful. So allowing him to see a flop, even if it comes ace high or king high, he can still do all kinds of cool shit to give himself 2 pair and stuff like that. That's gonna fuck you over. So I think the shove is better. However, also on the flop, let's talk about that raise.
Yeah. See, so, as soon as I did it, I was like,
yeah. So yeah. All he has to do in that spot is upgrade, and then he's like, oh cool, I have aces, or oh cool, I have ace. Like, you know what I mean?
I have the ace now.
Yeah. Right.
It was more just like exploiting him from donk betting into me, I did realize, because as soon as I did it, I was like, hang on. And he
Yeah.
had the upgrade as well, and
Right.
he didn't take it.
Right. And then it turned out he had an upgrade and a reload, so that's really funny that he didn't try and do
Yeah.
something on the flop. But yeah, Aries, it's not in Denmark, but I think I know the reason why it's not in Spain. Is it Spain? I think it's Spain or it's France. I can't remember. But basically, they have a law specifically about poker. It's something to do with poker is legal, but it can only be played in situations where your cards are not exposed until the hand is over. So Power Up circumvents that law in some weird way because, of course, when you play an X-ray and stuff like that, you're actually exposing people's hole cards in the middle of a hand. It's like this really weird old rule about how poker can be played, which is why it's not in those countries. It's of course not in America as well, or it is in America, but you can't play for real money because you can't play for real money in America.
So the reason why this is hopefully learning. I'm limping with 9-2, suited hand, and I have intel, upgrade and reload if diamonds come. So I can say someone bets ridiculously. I can intel if it comes like a 6 or something. I can reload and make the straight.
Cool.
Stuff like that.
The only reason why I think this is probably a raise and not a limp is because the guy in the big blind has almost no energy.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
But if everyone had 15 points, I like it. I like this kind of play. I think it's cool to mix in some limps here as well because you can start limping. You could, when the stacks are a bit deeper, you can be limping in with like small pocket pairs and stuff like that. You can also be limping buttons with hands that you're going to EMP jam. That's a move that Art does a lot as well. But the only time you don't want to be doing that because it becomes really transparent what you're doing is when you're only doing it when you're low on points. So that's something that Art does all the time. Whenever he has almost no points, he'll limp in, and then you know he's always going to shove over the top.
Problem here is, well, there isn't really a problem yet, because that jack shouldn't mean too much. I think I just locked the board. Like, unless he upgrades the pocket jacks, we're beating everything.
Ooh.
Unless he has 2 pair, obviously.
There's the set. What?
Okay.
What
Trips. Thanks.
That was weird. Okay,
Thanks,
so let's talk about this hand because I think on the turn you make a pretty huge mistake.
Okay.
So you've got nines, and I think nines can be the best hand there a whole bunch. But there's plenty of situations where that guy in the small blind in a limped pot can have 2 pair all the time, right? So you're just shoving into better hands that are going to call. Also, because he still has 15 energy, even after you shove the nines, if he has a single pair or a straight draw, if he has a 6 or whatever, the 6 was the middle pin, right?
Yeah.
If he has an engineer, he's like the massive favorite against your pair in that situation, right?
Yeah.
So and then what if he has a 6 and a pair?
Yeah, because
if he plays an upgrade, he can find the up and down straight. He can find 2 pair. He can find 3 of a kinds. Or what if he has ace 6? Then he has an overcard to your pair as well, and he can find an ace to go with all the other stuff. So I think if you're going to play the nines that way, you just call and get to the river, and then see what happens on the river, and then make a call or make a fold depending on what happens.
Yeah, here I'm torn between calling purely because I'm low on energy, and if I hit the heart, that should be a lock on the hand. However, if I call and a heart doesn't come, or even stacks, and he's got more energy, so it's kind of like a gamble. Let's go for it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it's no.
Oh, I need to go all in.
Yes.
Yeah. Oops. I mean, yeah. As soon as I clicked bet, I was like, oops. I mean, don't have. I mean, if he has it, I deserve it.
Nice
Okay, he doesn't.
Nice
Okay, he doesn't. Yeah, as soon as I click that, because that's just
That's
like
it, man.
a normal like sit and go thing.
Yeah,
Like I just
right,
click, and then because it doesn't
right.
show that you're all in,
Right.
people go, oh, okay.
Right. Just take your time on those, man.
Yeah,
those
bad
those
habits.
those are the spots where you're like, here you go, perfect game, easy as pie. Oh no, I completely forgot to lock the board. There you go, GG. Nice, man. Well done. Yeah, I like that game. I think I like the call in that situation. You're exactly right. You don't have a lot of energy, so it's not like you're passing it up for a better spot. And you've got a huge draw. Like there's no 2 ways about it. And once you get there, you can lock the board as well, so that you're not concerned about them removing the card. If you were in position with that draw and he was donk betting into you on the turn, it's really tricky because if he bets and you flat, he can disintegrate the heart first act. he can improve
Sure.
it. He can improve it into bigger flushes and stuff like that, and it just puts you in a really really weird situation. But being out of position, I think that was the call.
Yeah.
It kind of
makes
it kind of
sense.
sucks when the pot is like 2,400 and he's got 600 behind or whatever. But like you know, you just gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. I think it's weird that the Danes can't even play power up for play money. I'm not. Did Strag or somebody even explain if there was a reason for that, Aries? I can't remember. I think they just haven't done it yet. It's just not on the servers or whatever.
I like the way he spiked the 10 on the river as well. He was just bluffing the whole way
Yeah,
down the streets.
He's like,
I just
nice.
looked back on the screen, yeah, and then I just realized that he'd actually just been betting the whole way down. Because I was actually tempted to, like, say it was deeper and it wasn't power up. I'm probably raising that turn a lot. And then obviously you can't really do it in power up because if I raise the turn, he's all in. And if I'm wrong, like I'm so far behind until that hard comes.
Right.
Like even his 10 high was good there. We're yet to actually have a game where we're heads up, and I've started at like a 2-1 deficit, which I find fun because it's like a kind of like a different way. Well, there was the one we lost, but it was kind of like we kind of stuck with low power kind of the entire time.
Yeah.
But whenever like two guys just go insane and like go like all in the first hand or whatever. The only reason why I'm raising here is because we're so deep. I think like almost always I'm just limping. We do hit 2 pair. Yeah, I think I prefer checking here.
Well,
Like, there's the reason why I bet, forgetting that there was powers, but the reason why I bet is to protect myself against a spade or like an ace or a queen. But then he can do this, and he can have ace queen, and I don't think I'm ever folding because he has so many draws. Unlucky. Oh.
What? What?
Don't have queen 9, I guess. Alright. Let's see what he does. We still have to deploy an upgrade if something whack does happen. Because I mean, if he's bluffing, he's bluffing. Checks, the 2's a safe card. I don't know how I want to size this because no matter what I do, I want all the chips to go in. And if I bet small, he can still upgrade and then bluff all in. Calls with 3s.
Hey, nice hand,
Nice.
dude. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So let's talk about this hand. This is a really interesting one. On the flop, right? I like betting because you don't mind if a jack is disintegrated because you still have a pair.
Yeah.
Why not play the intel and then bet when you can see that the next card to come is going to be dry, right?
Yeah.
So and you ended up doing it on the turn anyway, right? The only other. Okay.
Maybe a fold.
I think probably the bet size on the river was probably. Well, I'm kind of torn as well because.
Like no matter what I do, I'm not really folding. It's like shove.
Oh, of course not. Yeah, no. Yeah,
or raise. He upgrades and calls.
Yeah, and you were right on the flop as well. You said, yeah, he can have ace queen here, but I don't think we're ever folding jack 10. Yeah, you're definitely never folding jack 10 for sure. So that was definitely correct. But yeah, just play that intel because the other thing is, right, when you bet there and you don't have the intel in play, if he has a straight draw of any variety, he has so many ways to get to it, right? If he has the bear queen, he has 2 more streets plus potentially an engineer and an upgrade, or an engineer and a deploy.
Ooh.
Oh wow,
Nice sound. Yeah.
That's a pretty good flop. I'm just gonna grab some water, mate. I'll be right back.
No worries. Yeah. diamond. Or a 10.
Or a 10.
And a 3.
And a 3. No reason as far as I've heard. Yeah, it's weird, right? Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think we need, as a community, we just need to try and build up Power Up a little bit more to try and justify the development, I think. Development also in this case, including getting it in Denmark. Oh,
I could have taken it, but yeah. Could have taken it, but I had the plan in my head anyway. It was the same plan. Deuce 3. So still win.
Nice.
Well, 24. You saw it.
Nice. Okay,
could have taken the 5, but yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that hand in a sec after this game.
Yeah. Which
hopefully I think you're gonna win like 999 times out of 1,000.
Well.
Here comes the comeback. Here comes the comeback.
7-9. Surely that's good.
7-9 is gold.
Club.
8.
Nice.
Clubs. All right, so blah blah blah. Am I correct in saying that on that flop when you upgraded, what you were concerned that Intel card was going to be bad for you? Yeah.
More so, yeah. I'll free bets it. Yeah.
So, because you already have 2 pair made, I wouldn't even bother because the only thing that you're really going to hate in that situation is like a straight, I guess.
Yeah, or the flush. I was thinking of maybe.
Or a flush as well, I suppose. Yeah, but remember, he still has Intel in play, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
So even if it does come.
Yeah. So even if you remove something that, okay, here's an interesting spot, right? What if that card doesn't interact with him whatsoever, but he's looking for a card? You could remove that card and he has another shot at improving into a flush or a straight, right?
Yeah.
So I think if he does have the miracle there, I think you just pay him off, no problem. So just play the EMP and get the chips, and you definitely play the EMP at the right time for sure. And also you give yourself 10-5.
Yeah. No, I wasn't even looking at that. I was just like, take the card, get rid.
Yeah, right. I would absolutely love it if he had 10-5 in that spot, and I'd be like, you're like, oh my god,
the worst thing ever. Whoops.
Or you guys both have 10-3 and it's a chop. You're like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I dig it, man. I dig it. Good game. Good game, sir.
It is definitely like fun, but it's just I definitely want to play a whole lot more. So obviously, if you look at the bankroll, we're probably somewhere around $59-$60. Because I mean, I haven't really had a losing day yet on 25 cents. I could just be running good, but at the same time, it's like, do I really want to move up to $1 and blow like a week's worth of work in one day?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you take shots, that's always the risk, right? But I mean, like you also you should try and avoid that kind of mentality as much as possible as well, just because like it's kind of the same as when people go you know a guy, he plays poker part-time, he makes good money, and then he spends all of his money on like really expensive shoes, and then you ask him like, oh man, those were expensive, then he goes, hey, that's like one buy-in at the casino, so like, what's the big deal, yeah. It's like, just always consider it in in buy-ins, as opposed to trying to consider it in terms of like, oh, that was, I've been grinding out for a week to try and make that, Yeah. But I know it's not an easy thing to do a lot of the time.
I really slow played my king here, so I mean, obviously you can have ace-3 or a 5. He does have the 5.
I think it's probably still a call though. Also, you missed a spot to clone there as well, a really cheap clone.
Yeah, like, should I clone? Oh, the upgrade, I guess.
No, the upgrade came after, so you only had the chance to use the deploy. But yeah,
do you think the deploy is worth upgrading or cloning?
It's less about whether or not I think the deploy is good, and it's more to do with getting that clone out of your hand so it doesn't block up your combination.
Oh, okay.
And of course the deploy is actually kind of a good one anyway, because it's so cheap. If you need to get rid of a deploy, it's easy because you can play it at any time in the hand, and it's cheap as hell because you're going to get almost all those points back the next hand anyway.
Yeah.
Also, here's a combination I'm not sure you've seen. If you feel like your combination is really, really, really bad at the beginning of a game, it can be worth deploying a card and then instantly disintegrating it to try and give yourself a better shot at improving into, because for the most part you can only play a disintegrate once you see a flop, right? But with deploy, it gives you an opportunity to deploy and then disintegrate. It's an expensive way to cycle, but if you start off the game with a really, really bad combination, I think it's a good way to just get your combination looking a little bit better for the late game.
Let's see what this guy does then. Nothing crazy. I feel like I really want to raise, because then this is a problem right here. What he's doing now.
Well,
yeah.
It isn't, and it isn't.
Okay,
it isn't. It isn't though, because look. So you have an engineer and a deploy, right? You prefer to have 10 points, of course.
Yeah.
But you have position, you have a big hand, and you have a way to improve your hand with engineer and deploy. So I think that's always just a raise without going all in, because you've got useful powers and you've got a big hand and you have position. Yep. So I think you're going to do pretty well there overall. There are plenty of situations where you're just going to shove ace king, but whenever you have a combination that has some playability, I think it's better to raise rather than shove.
Yeah.
There's been a couple situations where I've told you to shove ace king, and for the most part it was when your opponent had very little energy, you had very little energy, or you had no combination.
Yeah. Don't see us taking this down. Chop.
It can be hard to play though as well. So shoving is never going to be bad there. I think shoving is probably a lot easier.
I think I like raising purely because we're the short stack and we want to try and build a pot with a strong suited hand.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. But yeah, I mean, I think based on what we've seen here today, mate, I think you'd crush the ones, to be honest, completely.
Yeah. He's been checking back all his 2-3s nates. Doesn't really improve us, but if he bets, we can obviously try and engineer reload it, a 3 or a 4. But when he does this, we fold. Played.
Yeah, those are frustrating.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I have a spot here, and then it's just like, no, I don't. See, because I think he might even do that with a flush, like a slow playing flush, just to be like, hey, I just made 2 pair.
Yeah.
I just made a straight, because he seems to be checking back everything, like even multi-way. He's been checking back flops with top pair and stuff, and then just checking the whole way down the river.
Yeah.
Whenever a scary board runs out.
Tony Warriors, OP Poker, are you surprised that the Power Up developers at Stars did not do a promotion for the anniversary of Power Up? No comment, Tony. No comment. No comment. Just wait and see. Wait and see, my man. I can confirm that there is little to no difference between the 25 cents and the $1. Yeah, I think James agrees, and I think I agree as well. But you know, of course, you just got to play wherever you feel comfortable. If you feel like you want to have a bigger bankroll before taking on that limit, that makes sense too. But
that makes it interesting. See, that's something I could have done there. Just there. I could have engineered really well. He just checks 2s.
Yeah, but also the pot's really small, so it's you're going to spend 10 energy to win nothing, because once you make that play, you're not going to get any more value.
Exactly.
Because you're turning your hand face up.
Yeah.
I mean, or even worse, you improve into a jack and then you bet and then they shove quads.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Even better, if the button there has quads, he's like, wow, I'm always getting paid here every single time. This is amazing.
Yeah, if I do that, yeah.
Because your hand is...
I was thinking it is like the pot is going to make my stack improve by a 1/3.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I actually take down this pot? But it was kind of difficult.
Yeah, I think just take the chop, yeah. I mean, you can take the chop, or you can just jam and just try and get them to fold, but...
Right. See, this is like, there's so much going on, what can I do? Like next 2 cards. There's definitely something I can do here. So I still have the scanner, but I don't want a scanner. Let's just hope it doesn't do anything to this if there's a 7. Because now we're just banking on the 7, really.
Yeah. I hated that whole thing.
Yeah,
just now. that was like desperation station.
Yeah, literally it is, because it's just like he's just bet so much that.
Oh, there's the 7. Happy days. Okay, but like here's something that we spoke about a couple times, right?
Yeah.
When you play that scanner and you find the golden 7, do you think the guy in the big blind's gonna let that stay? Yeah, you can't. Yeah, no. I think that was just a fold. You had a bomb combo.
Yeah.
And when you're in that situation, just consider what's going to happen next, right? You're going to be in position. You're probably going to have a better hand. You're probably going to have a better draw. You're going to be able to play all of your points in position where you can give yourself straights that will stay and give yourself flushes that will stay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that was just a fold, but because you had 14 points, there might be some scope to maybe play one scanner to see if you see like an absolute miracle.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think it's just a fold. Yeah. And now you're just in such a horrible situation. You got no energy.
Yeah.
you got to fucking disintegrate, which is useless. Yeah, it's just.
So I'll be all in or folds. So.
Yeah, and you're just against these guys, you still have a way in, but against good opponents, they're just gonna punish you once you put yourself in this situation. They're just gonna lay into you so hard, and they rightly as they rightly should.
Because that was me. It was just like try and make a play out of desperation. Because I was just like, there's so much money in the middle.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that much, was it?
It would have doubled me up. It was another one. It was about 1K.
Okay.
This isn't a bad hand though. Nice.
Tony says, just seen the Twitter about the new game Fusion. Butter me up, Scotty. Yeah, it looks awesome, right? Have you seen this, Tom?
Nope.
So they're releasing a game called Fusion. It's going to be one of their like alt games. Mm-hmm. It's a mix between Texas Hold'em and Omaha. So you get dealt 2 cards, and then on the flop they deal you an additional card, and then on the turn they deal you an additional card, and then on the river you have to have the best Omaha hand.
Oh yikes! That sounds like something that
is
more. It sounds like Tony's kind of thing.
Yeah, completely Tony's kind of thing. Yeah. Tony, is it no limit, mate?
Let's see. It looks like it might be.
Because if it's no limit, can you imagine those all-ins? They're gonna be so cool. Because you're gonna get extra cards. Oh man, that sounds boss.
Yeah, I'm reading through it now. It's something I'd definitely play.
Yeah,
if I wasn't doing a bankroll challenge.
I think we're probably going to do a lot of that here at OP Poker. We definitely specialize in playing some of these alternative games. We've done really well playing Split. We did really well playing Showtime. We loved playing. What was the last one? Unfold. Unfold was like one of my favorite variants that they did. We made so much money playing Unfold in terms of buy-ins. It was nuts.
Oh no, I lost money on everything except for Split.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
the stuff I had a lot of fun with, but I was just getting outplayed even on the smallest stakes. But I've only been playing since January, poker in general.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Streaming for a month and a half, so it's just everything can be a little trickier than you'd think it would be.
Yeah, our unfold game was so fire. It was amazing. We were killing it. We had such a good strategy in the unfold pots as well. It was really killer.
Not the flop for us.
Yeah, it's times like this now. You need to look back.
I think I've just got to look back at what I just did. Yeah, Scanner, show me a 10.
You just go. My life would have been so much easier. No.
I can't do anything. Can I do anything else?
No.
He's just gonna get rid of the 10.
No.
So I just fold? What did I do there?
No. You scan. You see the 10 and then you call and let it fall.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, because I just put the action back on him.
That's right.
Ah.
That's right.
Well, see, there we go. Learning.
There you go.
I deserved to lose that one.
Okay.
I deserved.
This game. I want you to remember this game for the rest of your life. When you're in your deathbed, I want you to call me up and go, "Hey Nick, do you remember that one game where I just blew all my points, and then I really wanted the points later on, and then I trashed my straight."
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes in that situation you call and then he disintegrates the 10, but you just got to go for it at that point.
I was holding a disintegrate as well.
Ah, yeah.
Because that was the only thing that was on my mind. I was like, he's gonna disintegrate, but then I didn't even remember that I had one literally sitting right here.
Right.
Yeah, nah, that was I deserved to lose that one. It had to go downhill somewhere. There's always a learning point.
Not sure yet. I'm gonna love the guys who are poor at reading board textures. It should hopefully be a good moneymaker. Mate, it's gonna be it's gonna be like a really confusing PLO, and people don't know anything about PLO, so it's gonna be awesome. And all the Hold'em players are gonna be playing as well. It's gonna be a gold rush. I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing.
Anytime I watched people streaming PLO, like during like Scoop or W Coop, people were just shoving every hand, even at like $30 buy-ins, $50 buy-ins, like just insanity.
Tony says Nick was making so much money from Unfold they had to cut the game short a week. Yeah, exactly. It was embarrassing.
Oh, did they actually? Did they cut it short a week?
They did cut it short a week. Yeah. They sent me.
Just lack of players?
No, they sent me an email and they said, Nick, you need to stop killing these games. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't stop playing. And they're like, okay, we're gonna have to cut it off then. I said, fine, do it.
Do it.
Confirm true. Yeah, Tony's right. How did you find out about that, Tony? That's crazy. I don't mind making this a little bit bigger.
Yeah, just 'cause we're so deep.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, if you're gonna flop trips.
Yeah, like this is just the justice for the last.
Oh
game.
my God, this game.
Oh
my God, this game.
Cool. Let's go for it, guys.
No, there's no reason. No.
I can call though. I can call.
Yeah, just flat. This
keep the bluffs in.
If there was a flush draw, I would shove. But if on this rainbow board, it's just happy days all day long. You smashed it in so fast as well. Nobody's gonna be calling with a 6.
Give me the money. Yeah, he's never calling with the 6. He has nothing.
Just keep them all in, and then even if the turn comes like a really draw heavy card, you can just shove the turn and it's fine.
I can shove the turn.
Yeah.
I just got excited. There we go. There's another lesson. I deserve to lose. Well, I don't deserve to lose this one quite yet.
No, not
yet. We'll see what I do next time.
Oh, Tony, I'm so excited for Fusion. It's gonna be we're gonna play a lot of that on OP Poker, of course. That's what we like to do. So we're gonna be playing a bunch of that. I think probably did James say it's tomorrow? I think James said it was coming out. Oops, sorry guys. Yeah, Tony, you're gonna kill that game, mate. If there was ever a game that was designed for you, that's one for you, Tony. I can see you loving that one. I actually think this might be a little bit too early to say because I haven't played it myself, but just from hearing about this game, I think that this is probably the most likely one to like become like a permanent fixture that I've seen from their releases. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked almost all of them. Showtime I thought was okay, but it was like I couldn't see myself playing it like loads. Unfold I can see myself playing all the time, but that was just because we were making tons of money. Split, again, I don't think I would really love to play it that much. It was interesting for a while, again, but I feel like this one could actually be a new variant that people play a lot more of. Also because it's really easy to replicate at home as well, right? So you could really easily translate that game to a live tournament or a live cash game, right?
So this guy could be getting tricky. So I revealed I have a 3. He scanner discarded. EMP shoved. So I think he's got a 9, and he's just trying to be tricky, and I'm just gonna fold. I just think it's worth it anyway. He calls Jack 7. So yeah, he actually did have a bluff.
Good read, man. Yeah. I mean, you can't really call with the 3 anyway, but
no. Unfortunately, we would have had them both, but it doesn't really matter. Like,
well, okay, but like also like it's important not to discount. He actually kind of has a biggish hand. He's got 2 overcards and a gutter, so he's not really. Like, he's not going to be... against Jack 7, he's actually not in terrible shape.
Yeah, let's just let him go to war with this guy. Just let this guy use all his points.
Cool. But yeah, I could see this new game... Well, so like I was saying, so this new game, you can actually just play it right now with your mates, right? Whereas Split would be really hard and really slow. Unfold would be really hard to do live. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it would be really hard to do live as well because you have a timing tell as well. So if you decide to stay in the pot before anyone else and all that stuff, that's
wow. He had to fade a lot.
Wow.
And he. Oh no.
No, he got.
Oh no, he hit. I was just like.
Those 7-card boards are so hard to read.
Yeah, I mean, I can limp here to induce this guy, but also I think just raising in case he wants to come along.
I like it.
Yeah. Like both of those are options there for sure.
That
That's a
10,
good
that
card.
10 has got to be so good for you now.
I know. Do something absolutely crazy.
He's gonna shove. Yes.
I mean, and I'm not folding.
No,
if he
no,
has
no,
kings
no.
or queens,
No,
then
no,
just
no, no, no.
Have a good time, sir.
I think if he has kings or queens, he probably just shoves anyway. He wouldn't play a deploy.
Let's rock. 7, 8, and 3.
Oh my god, easiest
Hello.
game
I don't
ever.
mind the threes. I don't mind the threes. We'll
Yeah,
take
that's
the side
okay. It's
pot.
a small pot.
Take
Yeah.
the side pot.
Nice hand, dude. What is he doing?
7, 8 suited. I don't know. It's
I
just
mean, like
crazy.
if he has 7, 8 of diamonds, I don't mind the play, but
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty hard for him to have a flush draw when you've got the jack of diamonds, though. So.
And he's used up his luck. He just hit daily quads, so we're okay. We're good.
Send him a message. Be like, all right, mate, daily quads.
Yeah.
You got everybody gets one.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, so unfold would be almost impossible to do live. Split would be really slow. Really slow. I don't think anyone would really want to do that live anyway. Showtime would be impossible to do. Well, it would be impossible, but that would be really hard as well to do live. This game, you could literally just play it with your mates right now with a deck of cards with, like, no problems whatsoever.
So, I have two options. I call,
Yeah.
knowing I get the pair of sevens on the board, or I reload to make pocket sevens, but that leaves an open card for him to hit, so I'm just gonna call.
Yep, I like the call. If you're gonna be calling in this situation, hold. Nice hand.
Nice.
Yeah, no. The other consideration that is, if he does have kings there, you want to have a hanger to give yourself two pair. You
Yeah,
don't want to have a
yeah.
made pair, because if you have a made pair with the hanger, you're gonna have like 30 or 40%, or so it's gonna be 35% or
Yeah.
something. Whereas if you have sevens, you're just straight 20%, and there's no help. You have to find a set
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
or
for sure.
miracle straight.
Yeah, that's good. See, because I was like, ooh, because it's always so nice being like, I have a pocket pair.
Right.
It's almost as if it makes it better that it's in your hand
Right.
and not actually on the board.
Yeah. I mean, and if you, the only time you really love having the sevens there is if he has ace, deuce,
Like
ace
ace
three,
like what he
ace
has,
four.
yeah.
Yeah, right. And even then, you still have a pair of sevens, so it doesn't really change much. You just
Exactly.
never. The only time you give yourself the pair is when you have a big pair.
Yeah, like aces or something.
Right.
Kings.
And also, if you think that your opponent's range is going to be really ace X heavy or really king X heavy, you just want to give yourself the pair, and you want to try and avoid being outkicked as much as possible. Me and James did some math, actually. We did some math on the range. There was this really weird scenario where, in situations where you could, let's say you had king 5 off, if you could engineer and give yourself a king, you were almost never supposed to upgrade into kings. But if you had ace 5 off, you almost always give yourself aces because you have the absolute nuts pre.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
and it was something to do with the number of combinations of king X versus the number of combinations of ace X. So because your opponents in that situation are going to be so much more ace heavy than king heavy, it means that you shouldn't really be spending the extra energy to give yourself kings in most situations because your king is almost always going to be good. Whereas if you give yourself a pair of aces, you're going to be outkicked way more frequently.
Yeah.
So giving yourself aces, plus it's aces, whatever, just give yourself aces.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like
that part isn't rocket science, but yeah, the king X is an interesting spot.
So the reason why I'm sizing up is because of this, but also because the two cards. So say like he raises all in or something with using no powers, I can like intel, see a queen or jack, deploy it, so he can't get rid of it, and then call. I think that's the plan. That's the idea. That's the idea.
Very good, very good.
It's just
Very
trying
good.
to remember that you actually have the powers.
That's
'Cause
right.
You can be like, oh, I have a really nice combination, and then
Right.
just forget that you've actually got them. Okay, this guy's
Yeah.
possibly DC as well.
No, you're totally right, man. You're totally right. I like your forethought. I like the thought process. I think you're definitely getting there. Just running your head through every single scenario. That's why this game is like mental gymnastics, because there are so many outcomes and there are so many scenarios.
Cool. He has an ace. Probably. I mean, I'm just folding now. You can just take it. Once he bets 100 into 700, like, what's it to me to raise 200, see if he folds?
Well, but you also have a really good price to hit a queen or a jack if he has an under pair.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you probably peeled 100 again.
Peel 100 again? Okay.
Yeah, just because it's so
Just in
cheap.
case, yeah. And then I can still intel deploy if I really needed to.
I mean, but like, like I don't think an ace would necessarily bet like that. We don't know this guy specifically, but then also,
exactly.
What if he has like a gut shot? What if he has like 7-9 there? You're still winning with
he's
queen
doing,
9,
and he's doing it again as well. So.
right? So yeah, just I don't mind the raise on the flop. I think I could take that or leave that. But then when he bets 100 on the turn, I think you always peel again just to hit a jack or a queen, or maybe your queen high can hold up. And if he's the kind of guy that blocker bets until he hits draws, he's going to bet 100 on the turn, and when he misses the river, he's just going to check, and it's easy game for you just to check back again.
Yeah, or even just bet with a bluff. Yeah, bet with nothing.
Or if he gets to the river and he bets full pot on the river, you can really easily get away from your hand. So.
See there, I think I just had to fold because we had the 8 high, but we can see he's doing the same thing again. So.
Chris, live power up is a good idea. Live power up has some problems, but when they were developing the game, they were playing it entirely live. So that's definitely a possibility.
So we have no way to improve our hand to a flush, which kind of sucks. And I'm not sure which card I want to get rid of. I think I want to save the EMP.
Yeah, Chris, exactly. Exactly. Actually, I've got a really funny clip for you about that. When we spoke about this last time, I like massively embarrassed myself. All right, guys, let me just.
So we got the intel back that we just used.
Yeah, not ideal.
6s aren't bad though. I mean, we could just use it from the start of the hand, I guess. And then I'm just gonna check. And I mean, if a club does show up again here, it doesn't. I think I just fold to a bet. We're not really beating much. They can bluff a lot, but it's not really worth it. Not when the blinds are going up. I mean, Bart might bet 100 because he likes to do that.
Yeah.
And I might call him if Dead Sexy folds. Okay. Interesting. He has a 7. I have a 6. This might cause him to bet. We do have the club though, so we could actually possibly bluff this. We could possibly go for the raise. But is a bad player ever folding to a raise when he sees one club? Probably not.
Here we go. I think this is it. Dealt the same card twice, and also the random. Here you go. This is a good one. Hey, Chris, this one. Check this. This is what happened last time we spoke about if you can play Power Up live. I'd buy a Power Up board game to play at home. That would be fun. I mean, what you know, it'd be really funny is if PokerStars released that as a meme and they just started like making board games. The board games were wildly successful, and then it just failed on the server. Just died on the server.
I have a question for you, Nick.
Yeah.
Why do you think they decided to keep Power Up over other formats?
Do you know what? I don't know the exact answer to that question. As far as I understand it, as far as I can see, I think Power Up was always meant to stay. I assume what you're saying is like, why did Unfold come and go, but Power Up stayed, right?
Yeah.
So I think right now what PokerStars is doing, and I honestly have no insider information here, guys. This is me speaking as an individual and not as a representative of PokerStars. I think that they're just experimenting to see with what people respond to right now. Uh-oh. Skype crashed again. I love how Skype crashes, but Discord just runs. Skype is so rubbish. Sorry, guys.
Cool. We're back.
All right, we're back. Okay, so I think as far as I understand it, Power Up was always being developed to stay long term, because I think they really thought, or they still believe that Power Up is probably going to be a winner. But I think the other formats that we've seen come and go recently is just them sort of testing the waters to see what people respond to most. So I think what might happen, and as I said, I honestly don't have any insider information here, guys. I think what might happen is they might just keep experimenting, keep throwing it out there. The ones that are really popular will stick around for longer. The ones that aren't will end up off. And then at some point they might actually start developing additional games that will remain long term. So I know as well, because one of our community did some data mining. We found some layouts for a game called 6+, which presumably is going to be short deck poker. If you've seen short deck before, mate.
Mm-hmm.
You have.
Yeah, short deck would be something that I'm really interested in,
right.
Especially watching it like the Triton Poker series
right.
and stuff.
Yeah. I think that's where a lot of people were introduced to it. That was the first time I had seen it as well.
Yeah.
I think that games like that will probably end up being permanent, I imagine, at some point, especially if we see it shown a lot more, like on these poker tours.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I mean, I honestly don't know, but I think Power Up is Power Up for them was always going to be a long-term thing, and the other ones are just experiments for now.
Yeah. Okay, we got him to fold a 10 there, and we also have a 10.
Cool.
It's not a great card. Because he could still have ace-9. He can be doing this with diamond flush draws. I mean, jack-9 gets there now. I don't think we can do anything other than fold. It's not like deploys can improve our hand. A 10 can still be way behind. 10 of diamonds he had, so there's only 1 10 left. I just gotta fold.
Yeah, okay,
Unfortunately.
I like it.
We also got rid of that X-ray or whatever. Ooh. Okay.
How's your Chinese?
Good, actually. Yeah. Very good. I went for salted chili chicken.
Oh, my man.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. This is a spot.
I know. I have 2 options in my mind. Call and see a flop, or EMP jam. I think I like this better.
No.
Call and see a flop better.
I mean, this is of course fine. This is totally acceptable. But you know what's even better is do all but 1 chip.
Oh right, yeah.
Right, and then you can disintegrate the flop. Well, if you hit an ace or a 9, you can EMP jam. If you miss the ace or the 9, you can disintegrate the card that you think is most likely to give him a pair, and then EMP jam, and you're still winning.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm actually gonna write that down in my notes.
Yeah.
Just be like.
That's a good one. You have ace king. Don't time out, mate.
Oh right, yeah.
I think if you're on the button as well, you might miss it. Quick.
Yeah, I mean, I could scanner and remove. I mean, we're gonna keep them anyway.
Yeah, boom. Nice.
Good point. I didn't even see he raised. I was like, notes.
I've done that before. I've missed it. So. I mean, I assume you're always getting called by the big blind here.
Yeah, I mean, he can't fold. You can still get rid of those 2 cards.
I like your decision to scanner here as well, because if you... oh my god, what is he doing?
Okay, nice.
I was gonna 6.
Yeah, no, I just said nice before it came up, and I was like, he still had outs. I spoke too early. Okay, we're back above starting.
Nice, very good.
It's a shame. Do you reckon they'll ever introduce like noting? I guess.
Yes. It's definitely on the list of preferred features. Also, the ability to mute people is another one on there. Also, the ability to color code people as well is on there.
Yeah, because obviously at my stakes doesn't really matter. I think I've only seen 1 person twice ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean at the higher stakes, there's a lot more reg on regs, so that would be really helpful for us. Alternatively, what you can do is
we're just gonna fold now. There's no point in keeping it and hitting the pair of queens because you could be betting the ace. Can't deploy anything else, and the disintegrate. I mean, we could bring the queen in, disintegrate it, and hope that an ace will come further down the line. But I think I just prefer saving my stuff.
I think I like your line, but alternatively as well, what you could have done is you could have disintegrated the king, and then you would have top pair with the queen.
Yeah.
But with the 10 to come, it's a little bit tricky because he could give himself 2 pair with that 10. What was the order? It was the 10 first and then the queen?
No, queen first, then the 10.
Okay, well then what you could have done in that case is you could have disintegrated the king and then called and disintegrated the king, deployed the queen to give yourself top pair, and then called and let the 10 fall. But again, it's kind of a wet board, and he has a lot of points to spend, so it's not a great spot just to have 1 pair. If you had an upgrade and you can give yourself 2 pair, then it probably would just be a disintegrate. But
this is kind of disgusting now. Disintegrate the 9. Leave ourselves with nothing. I mean, like, why is he betting pot if not a 9? Because another 9 comes, obviously makes it a lot less likely he has a 9.
Yeah, I mean, he could also... Sorry, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, he could have had a straight draw. Like 7-8, and had the straight, and he hits the straight again. You could have an overpair, you could have a set, you could have 2 pair. Ugh, I don't know. I don't think I can call. I think if I have ace high there, I can maybe call, like, 1 in 5 times.
Okay.
But once the 9 comes back up, like any other low card, and I might even call with just king high.
Well, so like here's just an interesting note. I at these stakes, I guess it doesn't really matter as much, but people, when they full pot on boards like that, very often also have over pairs to the 9, because that way, because they're betting more confidently, because they're not afraid of being disintegrated, because their pair is in their hand already.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony says short deck has already been on iPoker for years now, but who plays on iPoker? That's funny. I had no idea about that. That's really interesting.
I've never even heard of that site either.
iPoker is one of these where there's lots of skins, so it's like the network, and they all share liquidity.
Yeah.
It's pretty well known, I suppose, but it's not great. With the ace king, I would have deployed and guaranteed 1 heart to land on the flop. Tony, I'm kind of torn about that. I know exactly what you mean, and I like that line too. But I think what we're really trying to do in that situation more than anything else is we're trying to deny our opponents an opportunity to improve into a dominating hand. And by deploying, we're giving him 2 additional shots to give himself aces or kings. Because once that deploy comes down, then obviously there's 2 more cards that we haven't seen what they are where he can improve into a dominating hand. So I think I prefer the scanner shove. We were a little bit rushed, though. You're right. I think that there's some scope to do some math about whether or not the deploy is better. But I think having one additional heart on the board is probably lesser than guaranteeing that they're not going to give themselves like 90% pre-flop or 82% pre-flop. If you know what I mean. But yeah, let me know what you think about that thought process.
I think we folded Jack 5 of hearts here.
Yeah.
I mean, he just straight up 3x'd and then he just pots again. Pretty crazy. We have no energy to combat it either. So the reason why I'm folding is because even if I limp, it's a third of my stack. There's no point in shoving when they have 15 points behind. Yep. Yeah, it's a nice hand, but they can still...
You got it, man.
Like,
you got it.
Both call and upgrade or something.
Yeah, so there's 2 things I want to talk about from what you just said. Yes, you're absolutely right. You don't want to commit a huge portion of your stack and fold. That would suck. That's actually one of the worst things you can do in Texas Hold'em in general. And also, you're correctly identifying a situation where it's cool to limp buttons, right? So it's really cool to limp with hands like that on the button with 5-7 of diamonds. But yeah, if you were a bit deeper, it would make more sense. You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, you're definitely spotting the button limp situations really well. Which I'd like to try and do more of myself. Actually, sometimes I forget about that play, and I think I could do more of it.
See, this game, the cards haven't been falling our way. Are we slowing down? Is this how it all ends? Is this how we draw?
This is when you realize that Power Up is a terrible game, and nobody's winning.
I mean, King High can be good here sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Chop, I think.
With the deploy, you're also giving yourself 5 more cards to come and hit an ace or a king if the opponent has a pocket pair. That is also very true. That is also very true. Yeah, man. That's Tony. Would you mind just like putting that sort of like reminding me of that situation on Discord so we can talk about it more, because I'd like to do some more math surrounding the ranges that they're going to do that with, surrounding the additional value of having an additional heart, the additional value of having 5 cards to come as opposed to just 4 more, and then also.
I knew he was bluffing. Yeah.
Nice.
This guy's he's 3x the button every time he's on the button, and then he's gone bomb pot turn.
Yeah.
Bomb pot on the flop.
So how long have you?
Misclick.
That's
nice.
Okay. How long have you been playing poker again, Tom?
So since January, but I played like a bit in January and a bit in February, and then I didn't play for like a few months because I was at like uni and working and stuff, and then picked it up more over the summer.
Okay.
So not really long at all. Just kind of like doing my best to study. Yeah.
I'm just really impressed. Like I feel like you've got a pretty comprehensive understanding of the game for having played for so short. Your terminology seems to be on point. You seem to. I feel like you're disseminating situations really quickly considering the short time that you've been grinding. It's very encouraging.
See, this time I didn't shove. You can't get rid of my 8 unless he has to syndicate, obviously, and then we're just like, well, I mean, we're not folding. If he has an ace, so be it.
Nice, easy game. The only thing I would have done differently in this situation is I would have deployed the 8 and then shoved, because that way you stop him from disintegrating your 8.
Oh yeah, and then it means I use this that's sitting in me.
So you're in position, and that's one of the situations where you can engineer and then let it fall. So that's good, right? It's not the sandwich position like we were talking about in the small blind. But then also by flatting, he knows that the 8 is a card you like, so it's the easiest disintegrate in the universe if he has it, and he's got 15 points to spend as well. So definitely deploy and then shove, especially like if you were much deeper, it wouldn't matter as much. You probably don't want to try and risk that many chips. But when it's basically for your entire tournament life and you're going to have like 20 chips behind after you make the play, definitely deploy and protect yourself.
See, here we have a problem. He checks back the flop, so he doesn't have a queen. I don't think so he'll want to protect against the spades. He bets the turn. He could have hit a straight that he didn't want to bet. He could just have a 5 or 6 and is trying to steal, but the problem is if we call, he's only left with 760 behind. I think we still kind of have to call though, because he's just been so aggressive.
Especially if you're gonna make a straight.
Yeah, and then he has the 8.
Yeah, potentially.
Like, wow. Or Bart. Yeah. I mean, I don't really see the point in deploying and giving them an opportunity to hit a flush. We can't clone, but we're not folding. So the real question is, do we shove or do we call? I mean, I don't think it really matters. I think either way, if he shoves, well, if he shoves, he has an 8, I guess, and we can make the fold. He has the 8. So
he had the straight on the turn. Okay, I think the call on the turn is fine against one opponent.
Against 2,
but against 2,
the action.
Yeah, and he's got 15 energy back there, dude. He could like he could have absolute air right now, and then he could engineer himself an 8, easy game. Like he could reload 2 and have you smash up, and you don't even have a great kicker with your 7.
Yeah, the other guy had
a pair of 4s.
Pair of 4s.
Or was it a set? It was a set on the river.
Yeah, set of 4s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have an interesting scenario here. And this clone, obviously, if we used the clone earlier, it still wouldn't be sitting in our hand.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's.
This guy's, I don't know, like this guy hasn't actually used pars yet.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of.
Yeah, I think that's a part of my game that I'd like to try and improve on more is. Even in situations where we're not going to be involved with the pot, just remembering to try and look at all of your options in terms of cycling, because the more you cycle or the more efficiently that you cycle, the more opportunities you're going to have when you have big hands, and it's just so valuable to try and be in those situations.
Yeah. I mean, we're not folding. I mean, we can't. Let's see what they got. Let's see. May as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, just
okay, we got the 8. We can take it back just for whenever we win this 3-way all-in.
Right. Yeah, you're just cycling. You're not.
So what I could do, and I don't think I'm going to, is I could deploy. Neither of them have a diamond, so we could bring a diamond on board, but we could also bring on a jack or 8. We have the ace high. So let's rock and roll. Pocket 8s. Let's see the ace. Okay, that's a good start. Okay.
Easy game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
I mean,
would you have deployed or?
No. I wouldn't deploy. And you hit the nail on the head. It's
Mhm.
yeah, it could help you, but it could also help them in your. And it's not gonna. You're just introducing a lot more variance into that situation. But then maybe with a hand like Ace 3, you want more variance in that situation. Like
That's what I was thinking, like a straight flush. Ooh,
yeah,
wow.
right. So potentially that the deploy might have been slightly better. I guess you have to assume that the guy with an 8 has 8s every time. Or Ace 8, I suppose, which again, you'd probably want more variance. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I think it's close. I don't know. Tony, what do you think, mate? Hey, Tony, thank you very much for putting that in the Strat Talk section. I'll definitely get back to that in a sec. All right, so I think after this game, we'll call it quits for the evening. We've done 2 hours, and I'll leave you to your Chinese.
Yeah.
But it's
Gonna get a win against this guy. He's super aggressive. By limp, he just 3x raises me.
Okay.
I just feel like on the odd chance he checks back, it's really good for us. Like whereas with Queen 5, we can try and reload the 5 and then just shove. Because we haven't left ourselves with 2 big blinds. Okay. So reload the 5. Okay. And this, I think, is where we want to deploy. I mean, I don't think it really makes a difference, to be honest. Obviously, it can help us. It can help them. I'm just going to call Queen 10. Good luck. We're ahead. Okay.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Okay, you win.
I'll take it. Yeah.
You win.
Yeah.
You win.
There's our daily quads.
Daily
I'll
quads.
take that
All
for
right. Okay. So let's talk about that pot for a second. What you should have done is deployed first, and then you should have reloaded.
Okay. Oh, because I can still hit the 5.
Well, you're right, and like if it could come the 2 of hearts or something, and then you wouldn't even know if the 2 was a card that you'd want to keep. You know what I mean? So when you reload that card, you know that you're going to make a pair more often. You have a little bit more information about the texture of the board as well. But yeah, nice hands. We're gonna write that one down. That was a good one for the clips.
I mean, well, even if we take this, we still have 2 overcards. Oh, this is where I should have deployed first again.
Right. Yep. Just you're always trying to give yourself more information about what relative hand strength looks like.
Yikes. The thing is, he's literally shoving any 2.
Well, yes.
So maybe I keep the low cards, but then he can still have them.
I mean,
yeah, deploy scanner.
In fairness to him, I actually don't mind the shove with 6-7 of spades, but with 15 energy.
Oh yeah, that was fine. Yeah.
But with 15 energy, it's probably better. It would have been better for him to limp and try and play his powers on flops.
Yeah.
I mean, by shoving, he's not giving himself an opportunity to remove all those queens that gave you quads as well.
Are you ready for him to bet pot? Oh, that's new.
That's weird.
Do you have a jack?
Richie Rob, no problem, man. Anytime, anything for you, buddy. Also, the 2
Oh,
scanner
he hits
cards.
the 9. I was gonna if he bet, I was gonna disintegrate the 9 on call with King High, but he hit the 9.
Also, the 2 scanner cards were both low cards 2 and 3, which can have an influence on the ace within the ace on a 6-card board with a straight. By keeping the 2 hearts and deploying, you shove. You're freezing the board. The 5 card remains. Well, okay, but Tony. Also, when we deploy, we're
GG.
Unlucky man. Also, Tony, when we play that scanner, when we play that deploy, we're also giving him more information about how he can play his hand though as well. So let's say he has Ace King of Hearts. Oh no, we have Ace King of Hearts. Excuse me. Let's say that he has. Well, I guess we already have the hearts, so we're not concerned about that at all. Yeah, okay, man. It's a really interesting spot though. Yeah, fucking quads. All right, so guys, I think that brings us to the conclusion of our second educational stream. Please let me know if you guys enjoy this kind of content. I think that people seem to respond to it. And if you're watching on YouTube, of course, leave comments and all that stuff as well, because we'd like to know if you guys want to see more of this. I feel like these are really rewarding for me. I feel like these are quite rewarding for the people that we play with as well.
Oh, yeah.
How did you enjoy your session, Tom? What did you think?
It was really good. It was good because I was able to go like I was obviously able to ask questions, but then in points where I didn't realize I'd done anything wrong, that would never have entered my head.
Right.
Like using the deploy before the scanner and stuff.
Right.
So it's
Right.
kind of
Right.
And
And
it definitely was definitely fun. Yeah, yeah.
and obviously like I'm trying not to comment on the hand as you play it because we're trying not to be ghosting, which I think we succeeded in doing so. But that's also a cool way to approach coaching in general, I think, as well, because you allow your student or whatever to talk about their thought process. And a lot of times you get more information about like how people are thinking about hands based on the way that they describe them than rather just watching them play them, right? So sometimes you see somebody make a play and you're like, okay, cool, I think I know what he was doing, but by allowing you to actually talk about your thought process as it's happening, it's really interesting because sometimes what you say is more illuminating than what you're doing necessarily. So that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. No,
Okay.
I really enjoyed it, and obviously, say if I move up to the ones or whatever, and then I go up to the threes, we can have like another like review kind of session.
Awesome.
Thing.
Yeah. No, I definitely like to do more of this in the future. I mean, also potentially as well, maybe when you're shotting the ones, it might be cool to do all that on stream for the first time.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that
sure.
so if I feel like you're making big mistakes, we can pinpoint it right away, and then we can be like, all right, let's play some more 25s or something.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely
I'll
definitely be in touch with you if you'd like to try and do some more of these in the future. I think our next student we're going to have on is probably going to be just in the process.
Yeah.
And I'd like
He's
to.
actually currently, I think, doing a podcast with DW Stevie right now.
What right now?
Yeah, right now. So they're
over they're recording it and streaming it live.
yeah on Stevie's channel.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
DW
awesome.
Stevie's
Okay,
channel.
cool. Well, in that case, I know who I'm hosting after this. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so Tom, thank you so much for coming to join us today, mate.
Yes, no problem. It was really fun.
I really enjoyed this, and I think this is I think this could be a promising format for OP Poker. And yeah, I would love to see. Keep streaming that power, man. That's what we like to see.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
We've got what 5 days winning in a row, so let's keep it up. Yeah.
Let's keep it going. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna say goodbye to you, and then I'm gonna do my wrap up. So I
Yes,
will.
no
I'll drop you a message in a second, mate. Thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
All right, bye now, mate. Bye. All right, so let's get that away. Okay, guys. So what are we gonna do? Let's go over to our full screen webcam. Where are we at? Guys, thank you so much for coming to join me today. I really enjoyed today's session. I think that these are really fun. They're really good for me to learn. Wow, my hair looks terrible. Sorry about that, guys. They're really fun for me to talk about because, of course, when you talk about your thought process with other players, even if you're teaching other players, it makes you consider things in a different way, you know, just like talking about anything does. Thank you so much to Tom once again for coming to join us. I really enjoyed today's stream. Okay, guys, I love you. I will see you tomorrow. Ciao for now. Bye. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more Power Up content as soon as it's released, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell to be notified as soon as videos have been uploaded. This has been Lost Gambit for OP Poker. See you next time.